What is going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for joining us. My name is Chris Hennessy, and this is Ending the Stigma, where we have conversations with people that have had any kind of anything to do with being justice involved or involved in addiction, uh, anything like that, just to kind of raise awareness and end the stigma associated with it. If y'all been following along for any amount of time, like just recently, the past couple months, y'all have seen me just absolutely blow your feet up with what God is doing in our lives as far as starting the Raven is here. Um, we go to Memphis next week, finally. Like it's just finally in the final days. We're in single digit days now. Uh, just to go up there and learn what Ben and Jess and Josh and Chris Bobbitt and the rest of the We Fight Monsters crew are doing and bring it back here to Jacksonville. Hey, David Cause. And if y'all are here, y'all drop a comment so I know you're here. I see you, Chris Bobbitt, joining us from Facebook. Also, I'm almost positive. I need to look. Let me just pull it up. Y'all bear with me just a second. That we are streaming not only to my profile, but also to the Raven is Here page. Let me just pull this up and see if we are. We are. We're live on both places. That's what's up. Heck yeah. Hey, David Corum. Rocking my David Corum bracelet right there. The stainless steel Raven is here. Hey, Leanne, John, I see y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. And I'm just super excited, y'all. Like, there's so much going on right now. Like yesterday, literally, hey, Kara, my partner in crime, her and Josh. Yesterday, God provided the money to get the 501c3 started, and that was going to be 700. I thought it was 750 at checkout. It ended up being 707. But when I have that going, there's a few things that they reached out to me. LegalZoom reached out to me today, and they need a little bit more information. So I'll holler at them tomorrow. We have a website being built. Somebody donated their time and expertise to build the website. Man, Lindsay Stanfield is here. She was on last week. Tanya Martinez, how are you doing? Julia Matheson. Hey, Lauren. Yeah, just yeah, doing dinner. I understand. Ana Hernandez, thanks for dropping in. Just so much going on. The website's being built. We've been in talks with somebody to do some merch. You see the hat I'm wearing, the Raven hat. I ordered a dozen of those to bring with us to Memphis. So hopefully we can give away, a few to Josh and Chris and Ben and whoever else wants one. Like guys just moving along really, really quick. And it's just like, it's mind blowing because I'm sitting back watching it. It's almost like even though I'm right in the middle of it, it's almost like I'm disassociated with it and just watching it happen from the outside looking in because it's just, hey, Sadie, thank you. So I'm going to and she may get mad at me for this, but this is a really cool story. It's been years and years ago, and she's not associated with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice at all now. Sadie was a correctional officer at TDCJ whenever I was at the PAC unit. And we recently got hooked back up through a mutual friend. So just the fact that she dropped in. So thank you, Sadie, for saying that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I am not. No longer wearing gray. Anyway, just seeing everything that God is doing and just, every time one of the We Fight Monsters crew, whether it's Ben or Jess or Chris or Josh or whoever posts something, like Ben posted something earlier. No, it wasn't Ben. It was Perpetual Finn. She posted something earlier and Ben tagged me in it. I didn't know this because I just connected with her last week, but her mom died in the Woodward house that they're working on right now. And they are so close to finishing. And it's a house that is going to go towards reuniting a mother and her kids. The whole story behind that is just like absolutely ridiculously God. The way it all kind of fell into place. But they showed up today and were able to walk through the Woodward house and see all the work that Josh and Chris have been doing to it and just see that out of so much death and destruction now is coming so much life and restoration. And that's the way everything, like Josh and I were talking backstage, like that's the way everything they're doing. Everything that We Fight Monsters is touching is doing that. Like they're literally taking places of death and destruction and bringing them into places of life and hope and restoration. what the enemy meant for evil, the Lord turned around for good. And it's amazing to watch it. It's amazing to be a part of it. It's amazing to, hey, she's here. I see her. Thanks for dropping in, sis. I like it. And every time somebody posts something, I'm like, yep, that's one more person I want to meet. I really hope we have time to meet all the people we want to meet in the 4 days we're going to be there. But if we don't, we'll be back in October, and maybe we can meet some of the folks then. So anyway, so my guest tonight is Josh Sneed. He works for We Fight Monsters. He's out there. Him and Chris are every day. They're out there in the houses actually building, and they're the ones that are actually turning the dope houses into hope houses. I'm going to have Chris on the show here in the next week or two too. I may go live with him. Maybe when we're in Memphis, I'm going to have Jade Rogers on Saturday night, the 13th. When we're in Memphis, that is one you are not going to want to miss. I don't know what time yet, but Jade Rogers has an amazing story. And it's the kind of story that makes you want to go hurt someone and hug her at the same time. But she's like, I don't even know her, but she's like one of the strongest chicks that I've ever even heard about. So just this whole thing has me all just like discombobulated and just it's God, y'all. Like it is, it's God. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. Josh Sneed, he's out there working. He's out there building the dope houses into hope houses. I get the opportunity to be on a Bible study with him. I'm virtually on a Bible study with a lot of the Memphis guys every Friday morning at 7:00. And it's just a blessing just to hear, their viewpoints on everything and their stories and where God has brought them. So without any other me rambling, let's bring Josh Sneed out. Hey, Josh.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man?
I'm digging the hat, bro.
I know, dude. Like, I love it. Like, it's simple, kind of like y'all's are. And then it's got the tribute to my brother because he was always chunking deuces. So every piece of merch that we have is going to have that on it. But just like, I'm digging it. I ordered a dozen of them Saturday night. So hopefully they will be ready and done in time for us to bring them with us.
Sounds good.
Hook y'all up with a few of them. Yeah. So what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here, dude. I appreciate it. Like I was messing around on the We Fight Monsters YouTube channel and I saw the podcast they recorded with you and it was a little over an hour. And like my attention span does not do an hour, especially during the day when I'm at work, because I can't really, if I'm going to listen to something like that, I want to listen to it, not try and listen to it while I'm working and doing all that. But Ben posted, yeah, I know. And everybody is just like, hey, what's up, Sneed? There's Josh Matheson, David Cause, Julia. Yeah, I love the Friday Men's Bible Study too, Julia. It's like I have a whole new family, dude. Just like all of a sudden that quick within 2 weeks, like I have all this family now. But I heard Ben posted like a 9-minute clip. So I watched it the other day and just to listen to your passion. And like for a good portion of it, like you were choked up because you felt so passionate about it. So just to kind of lay some groundwork into where you came from, and you can tell us, I'm gonna let you tell as much or as little of your story as you want to. So just tell us kind of your story a little bit, like where you came from, how you got involved with Ben and Jess, and then how you got involved with We Fight Monsters and turning dope houses into hope houses.
All right. So first off, I'm not from here. I'm not from Memphis. I'm from a little bitty town called Henry, Tennessee. I think the population's like 400 people. It's a small place. You wouldn't even know it that you drove through the town. We don't even have a red light.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. Yeah, I get that. There's a lot of those kind of places around here.
Yeah, 2 cops, one works during the day, one at night, type stuff.
Right.
So the life that really troubled me started early teenage years. I had moved to East Tennessee. Let me say this, because I've said some things about my past, and the more sober that I get and the more clear-minded that I get, I don't necessarily agree with the way that I've made them sound. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I was not a very parentable kid. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
was rebellious. I was hard-headed. I was stubborn. You know, I was going to do it my way. And if I had to run off to do it, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So it led me on a road that wasn't really the best road that I could have been on. You know, I was around bad people doing bad things, being taught bad things by worse people, and was trying to do it all in the darkness, which now they do say that everything done in the darkness is brought to light.
Mm-hmm.
So when my mom realized that I wasn't all that parentable of a kid and that she couldn't control me and this and that, which I don't know when she realized this. You know, I haven't ever really just talked to her about it, but I do know I was hanging out with a bunch of Crips in East Tennessee. We used to go play ball at this place called Kiwanis Park. It was outside of a place called the Blue School. It was an alternative school. It's where we hung out, you know. I mean, all day, every day, used to play, just do street things. So we were out there one day, and my dad happened to pull up and park and start walking across this ball field or this ball court. I was like, "Well, you need to get your ass in the truck." Well, you know, my dad's like 6'5", 350 pounds at this time. Like he's a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really just argue with him. So I got in the truck.
Right.
He had all my stuff packed and in the truck, and we headed back to West Tennessee. Well, when I got here, I was still in all kinds of trouble that I had been in East Tennessee. And I brought all my problems and shit back with me. You know what I'm saying? Very angry kid from just different traumas that had happened along the way. Some of my friends had died. My little brother had died. Just, man, just a lot of shit that I didn't know how to deal with. And I never had tried to deal with any of it because I didn't have to.
Right.
You know, I could bounce back and forth. I could go to different people's houses and stay on their couch and this and that. You know, like I didn't ever have to deal with my problems, which spiraled completely out of control. And before I knew it, man, I found myself not being able to live at my dad's house, not being able to live at my mom's house, only being able to crash at a couple of different people's houses that honestly wasn't ever going anywhere with themselves. You know, not saying that they're bad people, but they're caught up in a bad world and just not making the right decisions. Well,
let me interrupt you for just a second. Ben talks about this all the time. Is in the however many years y'all have been doing this, the amount of actual bad people you've run across has been almost zero. It's just been people caught up in some bad stuff. Yeah,
man. It's the loss of guidance.
Yes.
You know, like when you don't have somebody, and I'm not saying sit there and hold their hand and walk them through things, but when you combine hard-headedness, not wanting to learn the right way, and then nobody being there to show you the right way, you can't expect to learn the right way. All you can expect to do is go downhill. And then it's up to you how far down that hill you go. You know, some people go further. Some people hit rock bottom before others. You know, some people never do see the light of day. You know, they never see God. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This world can be a complete evil. Well, the world is an evil place. You know what I mean? Like it just is. So you pretty much can dive as deep into that rabbit hole as you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say this, that like I was saying, I wasn't a very parentable kid. It wasn't that my parents didn't want to be able to guide me in the right direction. They just couldn't. I wasn't going to let them.
Right.
And that's because I didn't have anybody as a younger child trying to pull all of this negative trauma out of me and teach me how to deal with it. And on your normal day-to-day basis, like your parents and your parents' friends and this and that, they're not equipped to actually be able to do that in the right manner. So it's none of their faults. You know, I ended up the way that I ended up because of me, and solely because of me. Decisions I chose to make.
Same.
You know?
Like I grew up in a strong Christian house. Like my parents are still married. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. Like they got saved when I was 4. So I grew up my whole life in church in a loving, caring home, and I still went sideways. Yeah. Like it was after I moved out. Like I didn't do it whenever I was living there, but I still went sideways. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is it doesn't really matter how you were raised. If you're going to act up, you're going to act up.
Hey, I got to stop for a second. Absolutely, Connor. Love you, dude.
Yeah, my little nephew right there. Hey, man, I'm so proud of them. They are so involved in this, and they are so big mad that they are not going on this trip with us next week. As long as all goes well, and I feel like it will, like they'll be with us in October, I feel like, but like they're talking about this, like this is we, this is us, they're just like right up in the middle of it, wanting to talk about designs for t-shirts and hats, and like it just blesses me. So I'm thankful for all the support that y'all show my nephews.
Dude, that's what it's all about, bro. At the end of the day, you know, and y'all will hear me say this, and I've said this before, and the people that know me know that this is exactly how I am. Yes, we are remodeling homes and turning dope homes into hope homes and providing a better way for people and for the future. But the children are our future. Yeah. You know, if we can get them involved, dude, that's exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm spinning on my finger.
Speaking of being involved.
What's up?
What's up, Mason? That's old Mason right there.
That's what it's all about, though, bro.
Yes.
You know, it's something else that I've said is that, like, I own my past. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not ashamed of where I've been, what circles I've run in, the things that I've done, and this and that anymore, because it can be the strength provided to somebody else for their future. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can learn from me, or they can learn from Chris, and they can definitely learn from Ben and Jess. You know, like, transparency is key. Like, we don't have to be held down by the mistakes that we've made. You know, we can learn from those mistakes, and we can own them. And that's what we do here in Memphis, man. Like, the recovery community here is insane.
Dude, I have a friend, and somehow, like, we just connected on Facebook randomly. She's local here in Jacksonville. She saw the stuff I was posting. She's like, "Hey, I want to be involved." I was like, "Cool, I'll put you on the list of volunteers once we get this stuff going." And she messaged me earlier, and she was like, "Man, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey, but also, like, you've introduced me to all these people from Memphis. It's Deanna Freecolt. You're connected to her, and a few other people are connected to her. She's part of the We Fight Monsters group." She's like, "Those people in Memphis, like, they are legit. Those recovery people are absolutely legit. And you have introduced me to that." So, and she's in recovery too. So she was like, "Just thank you so much for that."
Yeah, it's absolutely insane here, you know, and we're in the top 5 most deadly cities in America. But dude, I had to move away from my small 1-horse town home and come to Memphis, and Memphis saved my life.
Yeah,
like, for real, man. You know, it could have very easily went the other way, and it was very quickly. Don't get me wrong. But once I heard this, like, the recovery community and all the meetings and just how open everybody is, and you can walk into a room and feel welcomed. Dude, it changed everything for me. You know, like,
dude, y'all are recovering all the way out loud.
Yeah.
All the way out loud. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to use your story to help other people, is to be vocal about it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, most certainly, dude. Most certainly, man. Like, dude, literally, like, 2 or 3 different times now, I've pulled up on people on the side of the road just sitting on a curb. and got out and kicked it with them. Just sat there and talked to them, went and fed them. And lo and behold, they were ready. They just didn't. And they were the same way I was, bro. Like, I was caught up in my life and I didn't know how to get the help that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Because it never come across my mind. Like, while I was out there in the streets doing everything that I was doing, bro, recovery? No, like that wasn't the topic of conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you brought up recovery and it was time to go. Like, that's
like
I can't do that.
Mine and my road dog's mindset was rehab. Rehab's for quitters, and I ain't no quitter.
Yeah, you know, and see, like, and that goes back to what I was saying about the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a terrible mind frame that these kids are being raised in nowadays, because now it doesn't resonate to people that life can be so much better. Like, a lot of kids nowadays think if they make it to the penitentiary, they've made it. Like, they've done something with their lives.
No, I know, dude. Like, when I was locked up, I was like, I don't know how many times I talked to these dudes and they're like, you know, I got my stripes now, or however they worded it, you know, like they thought they'd done something.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. And don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of real people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do, still out there and sober. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know some real people, but today's day and age, real isn't real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right isn't right. You know, it's backwards. Like, you've got a bunch of kids being raised by fakeness and they think it's real. So then they take that out into the streets and they end up with life sentences before they're hitting adult age. Yeah. It's crazy, you know? Yeah. And if we can change that, why not? And that's what we're trying to change, man. We're trying to change it all. Just the mindset and everything around it that comes with it. You know, like, I want to bring awareness. We all want to bring awareness that it's an obtainable goal. If you don't know how to do it, reach out, say something, put a look on your face. Like, dude, I'll stop for real. I swear to God, I will. Get out, treat you just like I needed somebody to treat me, like you're human.
And that's what really, like, whenever Ben posted that YouTube video of you the other day, there were a couple of things you said that really stuck out. One was just what you said, I'll be there like nobody was there for me. And if you have to take a step back to allow somebody else to take a step forward and get that, if you have to take a hit, you're going to take that hit to make sure that somebody gets their life right.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Because you're at the point now, and this is another thing too that really shocked me when Lindsay posted the other day in the We Fight Monsters group. She said, y'all dropped them sobriety dates. And I was going through looking at some of them, and some, you know, some of us have been clean. Like, I've been clean since 08. I was forced clean in 08 because I went to prison. If I hadn't gone to prison, I probably would not have gotten clean in 08. I wouldn't have gotten clean in 08. But so many people are like a year or two into it. And I'm talking about strong in it. I'm talking about like you and Lindsay and Chris and some of these people that are just like less than 2 years into their recovery. And y'all are just like gung ho. And let me shout out this dude real quick and I'll let you talk again. This was my brother from another mother. When I rolled up at the Choice More unit in Bottom, Texas, he was right there with me. And if y'all know anything about prison, y'all know prison is racially divided as hell. But me and this dude, we spread 2 or 3 times a week. Like, he was my ace boon coon. You know what I mean? Like, this was absolutely my brother. And we reconnected after we got out. And I'm so happy we did. So Andrew, Drew, I love you, man. Thanks for dropping in. All right. Anyway, keep going.
So look, man, the thing is, a lot of people don't know about the change or don't know that they can change because they're scared, you know, and rightfully so. Look, man, when I was in my addiction, bro, it wasn't going to allow me to admit that I needed help. Hell, I couldn't admit that I needed help to myself, let alone walk to some facility and walk in and be like, hey, you know, can y'all help me? It just wasn't something that I was going to be able to do, you know, because I had burnt so many bridges in my life that
Yeah.
I was at a point where I felt like I owed everybody and anybody anything and everything that I had. Like, who was I to ask for help? You know? And I so wish I'd have had somebody walk in where I was and sit down and be like, look, man, you know, I love you. What's going on with you? You know, what's up, bro? I'm not going to judge you. Just tell me what's going on in your mind. Because the first time that I really genuinely had it, now I've had people ask me that in the past, but it wasn't delivered the way that it was here in Memphis. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the way that it was delivered in the past was I either felt attacked, guilty, or I felt like it was something they were doing to help them, not me. You see what I'm saying? Like it only furthered my feeling lost.
Yeah.
But when I got here, man, I met some people, and the first person that actually did that was the judge on drug court. Like they brought me out of my cell and walked me into the court. I was still in handcuffs. Like he looked at me and kind of tilted his head. I'll never forget it. He kind of tilted his head and was like, Sneed, man, do you know how much trouble you're in? Like, what's going on with you, man? Like, how can we help you? And dude, I almost broke down into tears because
that makes me want to break down in tears just thinking about it, because what judge does that?
Right.
Somebody who had, you know what I mean?
Like, dude, I was brought up on some big charges, you know, aggravated robbery, aggravated burglary, possession, intent to sell, like a lot. You know, I was looking at my son would have been grown.
Yeah.
You know, by the time I got out. And for that man to not bring any of that up, not throw anything of my past or my decisions in my face, and ask me genuinely how he could help me, it changed my mind about getting help right then.
Right.
And I was,
you know, whether or not he was a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. Like, that is the heart of the Father right there.
Yeah.
That is exactly the heart of the Father. Whether he knew it or not, God was working through that man. Probably not just with you, with a bunch of other people too, to do that. All right. How can I help you?
Right. Yeah. For the rest of my life, 100%, I will stand behind Lee Wilson. He's the best judge I've ever seen in my life. You know, and like, even to further that, dude, like the first time I went to court, he came down out of his podium, didn't have his robe on, was just kicking it with people and asking them how they were doing, like calling them up by name. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 people in a courtroom, and I've watched you call 14 of them up by name. Like you're not looking at a card or anything. You know, you're asking them about their kids. Like they're smiling and laughing, like skipping up to the podium, like, "Hey, what's up, Judge?" Giving daps. Like, bro, it was a complete different feeling. You know, like I knew I was in the right place. I knew I was in the right place. You know, and yes, I had reached that place where I was tired, man.
Yeah,
I was tired. I won't ever forget, like the 13 cops that pulled up on me in the street that arrested me. Like when they got out of their car, dude, I wasn't running. I wasn't thinking about running. Like it was, man, I'm glad y'all are here.
Yeah, like, that's the way I felt when I got arrested, dude. I was a fugitive from justice big time, and the Texas Rangers rolled up where I was working, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. I can still picture the dude's face. He was in plain clothes. He had his hat on backwards. It was before 8 o'clock. I'm on the forklift, and he comes in there and he says, "Hey, come here." And I'm just kind of looking at him from across the warehouse, and I slide right up on him because he's like, "Get your ass over here. Come here." And I slide right up on him on the forklift, and he pulls his badge out, and I was just like, finally.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a relief. Like so much stress got off of your shoulders immediately. It don't matter the trouble that you're in and what you're fixing to have to lay down. Like it's just,
I was glad it was over. I knew what was coming. I knew it was going to be some time, but I was just like, I'm tired of looking over my shoulder. I'm tired of being on the run. I'm tired of the drugs. I'm tired of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And man, I needed it. You know what I'm saying? Like I I needed it. And I needed to sit in jail for a minute, you know, to open my eyes. Like, dude, this is what I'm fixing to do for 15 plus years in a maximum security, like federal penitentiary. You know, I've got a violent record. Like, they're not going to put me in no nice pen. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'd have went to the pen, I'd have probably been there for the rest of my life. You know, I probably would have. You know, meeting this recovery community around here, bro.
Dude, y'all are amazing, man. Like, it blows me away every day that I see y'all post stuff, because y'all are living it. And
yeah,
you know, and I don't feel like I'm breaking anybody's anonymity here, because y'all are all so open about it. But like Shelby and Garland and Lindsay and you and Chris and Ben and Jess and the whole community out there, Jade and everybody else is just like posting this stuff all the time. Y'all are actually living this stuff and are there for each other and are there to anybody, like, just so accepting. And it's just so, like you said, most people have an agenda whenever they want to help addicts. It's, you know, they want to make themselves feel better. They want to check a box. They did something from their church. They want to do this. They want to do that. But just the fact that y'all are out there loving on these people, like you said in the video, I don't care if you're shooting up right now. I'll come and sit down right next to you and just have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the way that I look at that, bro, is like, look, man, when I was running the streets and I was doing everything that I was doing, which one of my main jobs was kicking people's door and repossessing money that was owed to some dealers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I did. People would text me addresses. That was all that was said. Hey, after that, bro, I'm going to get your money straight up.
Yeah.
Like, tell me how much they got. I'll be back. Sometimes 30 minutes. If it takes a little longer to get it out of them, maybe an hour. But I'm coming directly back with your money and going to give you a portion of it. I'm going to keep a portion of it. I'm going about my way. You know, like, I didn't even know 3 of the guys' names. Like, it didn't matter. Like, who cares?
Right.
Dude, I was a dark individual. I was out here doing some things that, hey, bro, if I'd have been caught up with some of that shit, man, I would be in the pen for the rest of my life. No doubt.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize, like the kind of mindset attack. Like, I'm not wired for it. I could probably do it now, like, to help someone, but to go in and kick a drug dealer's door in and take their stuff to deliver it back to the bigger dealer, like, that's some dark. You have to be in a dark place to do that. You absolutely have to. That's
how I met one of the guys that I did most of that for. Like, I kicked this dude's door in and was taking $1,200 from him and his old lady. And there was a dude sitting across the living room on a couch smoking a cigarette. Never said a word, never flinched, nothing. Acted calm, cool, and collected. Well, I took the money and I left. I went and dropped it off with my dude. Well, like 3 days after that, my dude calls me and is like, hey, man, I got somebody here that wants to talk to you. It's like, well, okay. Well, I went over there. When I walked in, it was this dude. All right. Instantly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I pulled mine out and set it in my lap. Was like, look, dude, this ain't finna happen today, bro. I'm not dumb at all. He was like, no, calm down. That money you took the other day was my money. I was like, no, it wasn't. It was his money. If they owed you money, then that's between you and them. Like, I went and collected what was owed to my, you know what I'm saying? And ever since that, that's who I was doing stuff for, you know? And that's actually what I got caught doing. I just didn't get caught coming out of the house. Like, they knew I was in a house, but they couldn't prove it. There wasn't pictures. They had a picture of me on the porch. That doesn't put me going across the threshold. Like, I know my laws, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty intelligent, but the best thing, that was God doing for me what I could not do for myself, letting me get caught, you know, because it led me to where I'm at now.
And I don't know how your mom was, but my mom was blasting, and I didn't know this until later, but my mom's blasting it out on Facebook. Christopher's on the run from the law, and he's on the run from God. Y'all pray that he gets caught.
Yeah, bro. So, like, man, I've stolen cars from West Tennessee and drove them to East Tennessee, and the first person that I recognized in that town was my mother. I was going through a Walmart. No shit, bro. Like, I watched her face. She was on the phone, turning and looking at me, and she was like, there's Josh. I'm like, oh, shit. I ain't been in the town but 5 minutes, and I'm already busted. Like, I know she's calling the police. So I went and parked at one of my buddy's houses and smoked a blunt and waited on the police. You know? like, man, I've been down through there, bro. Like, for real. But, you know, like, I don't like to put too much emphasis on the past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Because
no,
the
no, no,
past,
no.
it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not that person anymore. You
Right.
know? Like, and you know, I blamed God for a lot of things for a long time in my life and never really cared to fix them until about 4 years ago. Well, it probably wasn't even 4 years ago. It's probably 3 years ago. I was laying in my cousin Adam's house in my room with my son, and Mason asked me to pray. I played it off and put it off on him like I usually did. Gave him some kind of BS story, like, no, you know, and which is not BS. Let me take that back. But I told him, like, no, I'd rather hear you pray. I like hearing you pray because, dude, if you ever get to hear him pray, bro, he prays better than most adults. Like, and which kids do because they have
Kids
that
do, man.
genuine, you know, like it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But that night, man, I was laying there, like he just shrugged his shoulders and was like, okay, well, maybe next time. And he prayed and he laid there and went to sleep. All right. I laid there, man, and that hit me different that night, bro. Like, just how openly accepting he was to that and how okay he was. Like,
Yeah.
when he just shrugged his shoulders and was like, okay, maybe tomorrow. I saw faith.
Yeah. And like Josh and Julia, both of them commented at the exact same time, like that childlike faith.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I laid there, dude, and thought, you know, if my son can do this, why can't I? You know, like, is there a criteria to it? Like, is there some kind of way that I'm supposed to go about it? Or what am I supposed to say to you, God? Like, I was just sitting there talking to him, asking him questions. And it came to a point in the conversation where I literally, I don't want to say tested it, but literally tested it. Right, and just told God, like, dude, listen, if there's ever a time that I'm open to fully believing in you and trying to walk a better faith-like walk, it's right now. But I need to know that I'm still worthy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, can you show me that I matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, dude, as sure as I'm sitting here talking to you right now, he made it so bright that I had to open my eyes. Dude, I've never experienced anything close to what I did that night.
I had an experience like that too, and I get it.
Yeah, dude, that's when my mindset started to change. Now, I still went down these dark roads and I still messed up, and hell, I still mess up. You know, I cuss. I have judgmental thoughts. You know, sometimes I do stuff out of selfishness and not selflessness. You know, I'm human. But that was the turning point in my life where I started trying to change. And it's led me to where I'm at today. You know, it put me in the right places at the right times to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, to drop the people that I needed to drop. As painful as some of them were my best friends, man.
No,
and they
I get
still
that.
hate me.
Yeah.
You know, and I just have to tell them, like, look, bro, I love you. You ever want some help? Hey, it just so happens I've put myself in a position where I can help you. You know, it has to be your walk. It has to be your journey. But I can help you get the help you need. And I'll always be there for you. You know, I just don't entertain the slick shit or the dumb shit anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if you're still on that, I ain't got time for it, bro. I'll hang up. There's somebody out here that needs help and, you know, is going to be more open to it. Well, I'm going to spend my time and my energy on them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy. Like, I just said 2 words that, and this is one of my favorite sayings, man. And not that it's just a good saying, but it's something that is beautiful inside of me, how I see it. But like, I was told to be selfish in my recovery and to work on me, not to do it for anybody else, but to do it for me. And in the middle of me being selfish in my recovery, I learned how to be selfless.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I'm going to do what I want to do, right? I've known that my whole life. But
Mm-hmm.
now I can choose to do right. So now that
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm headed in the right direction, and I know how to continue heading in the right direction with the tools that I've been taught,
Yeah.
that's why I am so willing to take that step back so that I can push you forward.
Yeah.
We're going to go. You want to go? Hey, let's go. You don't know how? Man, that's awesome, dude. You know, at the point where you can say, I don't know,
That's the
bro,
best
we,
place to
we can
be.
work with that. Yeah, we can work with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Broken,
For sure.
absolutely broken is a
For sure.
beautiful place to be, because that's where you find your foundation. You know, that's
Yes.
where you get on your knees and you submit to God and you ask Him for help. And then God will start placing people in your life that needed to be there.
Yeah.
And they'll hit everything that they say will hit different. It'll
Yeah.
mean something. You'll get chill bumps when certain things are said by certain people. You know, and in my mind, like that's, dude, when I get that feeling, I'm like, thanks, God, I'm listening. Whether I say it or acknowledge it, I promise you that's what's going on in my head. Like when I get them goosebumps, man, that's God sending me a message through somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, we all, like all of us in this recovery community here, Josh, Julia, everybody that you've met, like, bro, we help all kinds of people on all kinds of different levels,
Yeah.
you know, but nobody that I know of does it on selfishness. Like we're not helping somebody so that we gain from it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we all gain from it because it's selfless help. You know, it's what drives us forward. Like that's the fuel to my fire. But I'll help somebody every day because I've never viewed myself as somebody that could help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I could help you break the law. I could help you make some quick money. I could help you completely destroy your life.
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at it like I could help you fix your life, or that I could put people in your life that could help you on different levels. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, it's changed me, you know? Like I'm a happy-go-lucky dude. I'm laughing and joking all the time. I'm in a great mood all the time. I'm humble. Now, I mean, you'll never understand the level of violence that it took to get there, but I'm okay with being me today.
Yeah.
Like I say, dude, I can look in that mirror and not have to look away.
Yeah. I want you to tell David what you told me the other day, because I called Josh a rock star the other day and he came back with something. And I don't even know if you remember what you said.
No, yeah, most definitely. I'm not the rock star. God's the rock star. I just want to be the guitar.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, like, so don't get me wrong. Like, we all need to be out witnessing. But, with saying that, you know, that's pretty much our only purpose on earth, is to witness and to bring others closer to God and to give all the glory to God. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, everything that I do today, I try to reflect that Christian-like walk. Like, I don't want to have to tell you I'm a Christian. I want you, like, when I walk in a room, I want you to look and be like, well, that's a Christian. You know? And we can do that. And you can make people see that in you.
Yes.
It's through actions, not words.
Yes.
You know, like I've been a manipulating ass person in my life. Like I know how to turn conversations to benefit me within 2 sentences out of your mouth. Like I'm already directing this conversation in the way that I need it to go. You see what I'm saying? So like words don't really mean much to me, man. You can tell me whatever you want me to know. You can tell me whatever you want me to think. How you act is going to tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
You know, so I try to keep that in the back of my mind. Now, like I said, dude, I'm human. I screw up, you know, but in the back of my mind, like I try to keep that always resonating and always circling through my mind. Like, what should I do? And one of the best ways that I've found to do that is when I find myself in those situations, I just ask myself, like, what would your grandmother do? How would she think if she saw you acting? You know what I mean? All right, dude, that changes the way
we were
that I
talking about her earlier. Yeah, it does. Whenever you think about it like that, and like I want to, what Drew just said, he said, understand we don't need to be the perfect example. We just need to be a real example for God.
Yeah.
Because we're human. We're going to mess up. Like you said, I still struggle with cussing. Like to this day, I do pretty good about keeping it to the down low on my live streams, but like I still struggle with it. I still struggle with the judgmental thoughts. I still struggle with a whole plethora of things.
Yeah.
But I just need to be a real example.
Yeah. You know, and like, dude, what's tell me a better way other than recovery.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in sin. You're living for Satan. And then you turn around and start doing everything. Why? Can anybody explain to me why?
Yeah.
Bro, because God is changing and is working in your life and allowing things to happen for you. So why not give him that glory?
Yes.
In all the cases, not all of them, don't get me wrong, not all of them, but in most cases or situations that I could explain what's happened good to me, when I don't take that credit and I give it to God, something else happens.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not me doing anything, you know, like everything good in me is Jesus Christ. I promise. I promise. You know, it's just a beautiful thing.
You can't have the heart that you have and the passion that you have and the compassion that you have. You know, one of my favorite things in the New Testament, and it's in all the Gospels, in multiple accounts of where Jesus did something, it'll say, and Jesus was moved with compassion and he, whatever, fed them or healed them or talked to them or whatever. Multiple instances and multiple scenarios, and he was moved with compassion. And bro, when you talk, like it's just the compassion is just oozing out of you. Like it's evident that godly compassion is there for these people.
I mean, yeah, of course it is. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I've been lost. I've not known what direction to look. Now that I've figured that out, man, bro, I'm going to try to spread it to every person I come across. Whether we speak Jesus' name verbally or out loud or not, I promise you we're headed in that direction. Promise you we are.
Yeah.
You know, you stick around and talk long enough, I promise you Jesus is going to be a topic that we talk about.
Yes. Yes.
Why shouldn't we be?
And that's kind of the deal with, like you said, people showing up with their own agendas is they want to, and I'm a Christian and I'm all about sharing the love of Jesus with people, but that doesn't necessarily always, and this may piss some people off, but that doesn't always necessarily need to be what you lead with.
No, especially with dealing with the type of people that we're dealing with. Hey, man, you leave that conversation off with Jesus or God and you've lost them. Right
then. Yep.
Yeah, even if they sit there and have that conversation with you, they're mentally blocked off. They're not hearing. They don't care. They're just sitting there because somebody's
there for the Newports and the energy drinks. That's all they're there for.
Yeah, literally. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, one thing that I had to teach myself, because, dude, I do talk a lot. Don't get me wrong. I like to talk. Was talking to somebody just to listen. Start a conversation with somebody just to listen. You know, because when I was out there in those streets, man, didn't nobody ever talk to me. They didn't care what I had to say. They didn't care to talk to me. And that's one of the biggest ways to open up conversation and to start planting that seed in people is just to listen. Don't talk to them to respond. It's not what you know. It's not what you've been through. You're not there to tell them what you've been through or to talk about what you've been through. You're there to listen at where they're at, what they're going through. Understand the person that you're talking to. That way you can better assess the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It works,
It
and like I
does.
said, you keep doing that along that line, Jesus is going to come up.
And you're already showing them the love of God. You're already doing it. You're already pouring that love into them. You're already planting that seed, whether you bring up God or not. And like Lindsay just said, she had a resentment towards God for 38 years because that's all people want to focus on. They don't want to focus on just loving you where you're at for a short period of time. But like you said,
Yeah.
you build rapport with them, you build that trust with them. It's gonna come up, and when it does, they're going to be more receptive to it. You have to lay that groundwork.
Yeah. There's all kinds of people in all kinds of different situations in life. And what's the number one person or thing that everybody can blame is God. You know what I'm saying? And now the world that we live in today has weaponized God. They use God as a weapon.
Yeah.
So I don't blame a lot of people that are coming up in recovery when they shy away from that whole topic. I completely understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes time, it takes compassion, it takes care, it takes patience. Like, you can't force God on anybody as bad as you want to. You can't walk up and slap somebody in the face with the Bible and expect them to be a believer by the time it stops stinging. It don't work that way. But you can gradually move them towards God and watch God do for them what you can't.
Right. And it's gonna cause them to wonder, why is this dude doing this? What's the driving force for him to come out here every day or every other day or whatever it is and just chill with me and bring me a cigarette and a cheeseburger? You know what I mean? Like, what's the driving force in that?
Bro, I learned that right there from Ben Owen and Jess Owen. Swear I did, man. And I say it all the time. They never show up with open hands. It's always open arms. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to help you to benefit themselves. They don't. That doesn't even come in their minds. Yeah. Like, they just want to help. They want to see you be the best version of you that you can be. And they're happy with that. You don't have to pay them back. Like, just to see you grow is payment enough. Like, I've never met anybody else like them too. Swear to God, I haven't.
Me either, dude. Like, we have a group message with Ben and Jess and Kara and I, and they're busy, so it's not like anybody's in there talking all the time. But he'll drop posts in there. He'll tell a story about someone, or we'll ask a question about something, and he'll go off on a story about someone, and it is every time centered around the improvement they have made in their life. Yeah. Not necessarily whether they've accepted the Lord, which is huge if they do that. Like, that's the driving force behind what we do. But it's always how proud he is of them. He's proud of Josh. He's proud of Chris Bobbitt. He's proud of, John Cox and everybody. Like, I've heard stories about all of y'all, just little things. I'm proud he's experienced this or she's experienced this, and just the strides they've made and the improvements they've made in a year. Like, he just gushes over everyone. Because that's just who they are. Yeah.
Dude, they help so many people on so many different levels of playing fields that it's insane. Like, I've never, for Ben to be as short as he is, I've never met somebody with more of a reach than him.
Yes, right.
And he's doing exactly what God has called him to do.
Exactly.
Like, exactly what God has called him to do. Like, that dude, him and his wife are godsends, literally. To so many different people, not just me, not just the other people on this podcast. Like, for so many people, it's crazy, dude. Like, he's
and on the flip side, he'll talk about John Cox, who has been in recovery for years and was the manager of, the Rebos house and all this kind of stuff whenever Ben got kicked out.
Yeah.
He talks about him just as proud as the people he's helped when
Yeah,
John
bro.
was the one trying to help him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's
You can't place more love or like a higher thought on anybody. You see what I'm saying? And it come across right.
Right.
Like you have to love everybody equally.
Yeah.
And the way that they love everybody is with everything.
Yes.
Shadow of a doubt, with everything. They love 100% all the time. Even people that mess up, man. Dude, working in recovery and working around people in recovery, slip-ups happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it just happens. I hate that that's a part of recovery, but it is. And some people might not agree with that. It's okay. I'm not mad at you. But hey, slip-ups, relapses are a part of recovery. It just happens. But how cool would it be? Like, here's one of the things that irritates me the most about relapses is when somebody is doing good and been doing good for, let's say, 2 years, right? And they relapse. The majority of people around them take on the mindset of, man, we knew that was coming. Like, we knew that was going to happen. Like, we were just waiting on that to happen. That should be completely backwards. When somebody relapses, hey, man, I'm not going to judge you. Relapses happen, bro. Let's pick up where we left off and continue moving forward. That would stop, I think, a lot of relapses. And it's not going to stop them all because some people just aren't ready. Some people haven't picked up the tools that they need to continue moving forward. And it just happens. You see what I'm saying? But like in my own personal case, one of the hardest steps in life I've ever had to take was admitting I needed help. Right? I had to put my pride to the side and my ego and admit I wasn't in control and that I needed help. Hardest thing I've ever done, hands down.
And I think part of it too is when someone relapses is we tend to want to, even people who are in recovery want to judge them. Oh, you did so good for 2 years. Why? Why in the hell would you do that? No, bro.
Right.
Pick them up, dust them off, pat them on the butt, tell them good game, and let's hit this again. We got this.
Yeah, bro,
we got this.
And dude, if you have been doing good and then you relapse, you've already taken that harder step by saying that you needed help and this and that. And then when you relapse, wouldn't that make that conversation or that step just harder, like 10 times harder?
Yeah.
Because
now you've got all this shame.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Then you're wrapped up in shame and guilt. I feel like it drives people to stay out longer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree 100%.
So where Ben and Jess are still there with open arms and give you a hug. Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not mad at you. Might be disappointed, which is understandable, but not mad and not going to turn their backs on anybody.
Yeah. And if you want to try this again, then I'll be right here just like I was the first time. Yeah,
bro. Yeah. They have paved a way and a road in my life that I'll be on forever.
I will, Drew. I'll holler at you. I'll invite you to the next one. I got you. Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was my homeboy bobbing off.
No, you're completely fine, bro. You ain't interrupting me or bothering me. Like I said, I like to talk. We could do this for hours. Trust me. This is my life right here. You'd be surprised how many times these conversations really happen between me and people. It's pretty much all I talk about. And then our job with the We Fight Monsters, that's what we do. Yeah, we build houses, but the main mission is people. It's people. I'll go back to what you said a minute ago. You referenced our Friday morning meetings. And I love what David Johnson brought to all of our meetings when he was telling us, yes, that our mission is people and it's saving people. And it's saving people from addiction and just all the bad things of life. But are we really being successful on the bed bubble? Are we really being successful or doing to the potential of what we could if we're not helping them save their souls?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to take it one step further. Yeah, man, you can beat drugs. You can beat addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get past it. But what's the point if you don't find God? You know, we can save you, your earthly life? Right, it has to go past that. It has to. You know, so and I mean, I feel like that's exactly what we all needed to hear.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
for
that
sure.
is exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. You're exactly right. For sure. So let me get with David and see. David Corum and John, y'all shoot me a DM. I may not read it tonight, but I'll probably leave it unread so I remember to do it in the morning. I'm sure there wouldn't be any problems y'all joining at all.
No, not at all. Anybody?
I don't
Yeah.
think so at all. It was such an honor for him to ask me. So y'all shoot me a DM if y'all are connected to David Johnson, shoot him a DM. If you're not, shoot me or Josh a DM, and we'll get you hooked up with David. And
yeah, that's a great men's meeting every Friday morning,
dude.
I get something out of it every time.
Yeah, I do too. It's great just to sit there and be with like-minded people, and just hear the words being brought forth and just the stories. And there'll be differences of opinion, but it's not like it's nobody gets any kind of heated arguments or knockdown dragouts over it.
No, a little constructive arguments are good.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's real good. Like, it's good stuff.
You don't do that without friction,
Yeah. But David, it's at 7 a.m. Central, 8 Eastern. I don't remember where you're at, but it's at 7 Central. Yeah, Lindsay, they have a Saturday night one. That's good. That's real good. So I want to say real quick too, while we're kind of in a little bit of a break, if I'm not connected with any of y'all on Facebook, I see some names I don't recognize. Y'all please send me a connection request, a friend request. I'd love to be friends with you. Because there's been a lot of good comments in the comment section tonight. Real good stuff. Yep, that is what it's all about.
Yeah, of course. And it's encouraging people, not criticizing them. And you can't teach through criticism. You just can't. Now, constructive criticism is something different, which we had that conversation in one of our meetings not long ago on Friday. And that was like, not to judge somebody, but to correct them. You know what I'm saying? Right. There are differences. But when you push somebody forward, you're just like, hey, man, maybe that's not right. Whoopty this, whoopty that. But never bashing them and never knocking them on the ground, but only standing behind them and pushing them forward. Hey, bro, you run into growth. And not just that person. The people around you see what you're doing, and they're growing mentally, whether they see it right now or not, because you're planting the seed that, hey, we can all grow. We can all get better. We can put forth more effort and try to learn.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And that's why I'm like I am with Connor. Connor's on a great path, dude. I hadn't met him, but that's my little brother already. I love to see the passion and him just wanting to help. Dude, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I was telling you, dude, a little bit of outside influence of people that he's not around, people that aren't family, people that he doesn't have to listen to all the time, pushing him and nudging him in that same direction. Bro, there's no telling what that kid is liable to be able to do in his lifetime.
And I think I said this last week whenever Lindsay was on, but we were sitting out at Kara's and we were sitting under the carport talking, and Connor said something about, well, whenever we do this, he said, wait, whenever y'all do this, and this. And I said, no, bro, if you're already talking about it's we, then it's we. Yeah. It's not what mom and dad and Chris are doing. It's if you're thinking we, then it's we.
Yeah.
Keep that in your head.
Yeah. And why not bring the kids into the mission? Hey, bro, you know how many kids you're going to find out in the streets why not have kids with us on the same path, doing the same thing, preaching the same stuff, talking about the same thing, trying to drive the kids forward too? There's going to be kids that we can't reach that a 12-year-old can. While we're talking to the parents or the family and they're out in the yard playing, I'm wrong. It just goes hand in hand, you know?
Yeah, he could. He could change lives in junior high. Bro takes wristbands to school and sells them. He took them to camp and sold them, or tried to sell them. Everybody had already spent their money, but he's taking them and he's doing the work, man. He's doing it. Yeah,
my son takes the We Fight Monsters shirts. Well, more the Disciple Armor shirts to school, gives them to his friends. Like, I've got one in my room right now that just come in for one of his buddies. He called it and told him just, I don't know, an hour or two ago, hey, bro, I got your shirt. I'll bring it to football practice. You know, and that's what it's about, bro. You know, like there's going to be kids walking around the halls with "Pray Every Day" on their shirt. Yeah. Like that's the direction that this country needs to go in.
Yeah.
Not rapping and holding up guns and robbing people and stealing cars and doing drugs. You know, like, bro, we're watching a whole generation be killed off. Like, how much more is going to have to happen before people like the We Fight Monsters or Ben and Jess or you and Kara and Josh? How much more is going to happen before people start standing up for their people and doing what's right just because it's right? And you're going to piss some people off with what's right, but that's okay. That's supposed to happen, you know?
Yeah, it is. If you're not pissing some people off, then you're not doing something right.
You know,
you're gonna piss them off.
Yeah. You know, and like Julia just said, her kids have so many of them shirts, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
Clayton and Connor, Kara doesn't get to wear hers half the time because Clayton and Connor yank them out of the dirt or yank them out of the dryer before she even gets a chance to put them up, and they're wearing them.
Yeah. It's just the whole mission and the whole mindset behind the mission and everything that's going on is, man, it's got to be God. It's got to be. It's got to be, because if it isn't, it's not going to be forever. You know, he's putting us in places that we need to be and then equipping us with what we need in order to get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree 100%. If that's not God, bro, I don't know what is. You know what I mean?
I know it. I already know. Well, dude, this has been awesome. I feel like we could keep going for another hour. We've already been on for 1 hour and 8 minutes, which is amazing. It doesn't even feel like it. I feel like it's been 10. I'm going to cut us off here, though. Tomorrow at noon Central, I'm going to be live with Ben and Jess. We're going to be guests on The Awesome Journey with Kelly Steinecker and Christy Howard. So, fun story. Chris Smith tried to get me hooked up with Ben on LinkedIn. And Ben is not nearly as active on LinkedIn as he is on Facebook. He's still pretty active on LinkedIn, but not. We were communicating through LinkedIn DMs. It didn't work out. You know, Ben gets hundreds of messages, so I'm not even mad at him about it. But Ben and Jess were on their show a while back, and I said, how did you get them on the show, man? I've been trying to get Ben on the show for a minute. And she was like, I got you. I'll hook you up. They told him, all right, you can come on the show, but you got to go. We're going to introduce you to this dude, and you got to be on his show. And that's how this whole thing started. So I'm going to be on there with Ben and Jess and Kelly and Christy tomorrow, which I think is just like this beautiful full circle kind of deal. Especially a week or 9 days before we're going to be up there. So it's going to be great. So it's going to be on my page.
Sorry.
Who? No, go ahead.
Chris Smith would be another great person to have on the podcast. That dude is amazing, bro. Amazing.
He's been on it once, and I tried to get him on again a few weeks ago, and he was leaving a prison and was not going to be able to get somewhere in time to be on it. So I need to get back with him and see if we can pre-record it on a day that he doesn't go in, because Monday nights, I guess, are not good for him because he's going in to do a group, like an AA group or a recovery group on Monday nights.
Yeah, he's the faith-based coordinator of West Tennessee now.
Yeah. He's doing big things, and I've reminded him twice. I'm going to text him again probably tomorrow and remind him that we're going to be, because he's only a couple hours from y'all.
Yeah, he's only 2. He's from the town next to the town I grew up in. He's from Huntington.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's going to come. I'm going to try and get him to come down one of the days that we're there so I can meet him in person. He's got a crazy story, man. He started doing drugs when he was like 8 or something, like just a kid. But he's got an amazing story too. I don't know who I have on the show next week. I don't have a guest lined out. I'll reach out to somebody. I've got a couple people in mind, maybe Chris Bobbitt or John Cox. Still
Chris
trying to get Josh.
Another day with a good story.
Yeah. I hadn't heard as much of it as I've heard of yours, but I do. He's gonna definitely be on. Still trying to get Josh and Julia lined out to be on the show. I'd kind of like to have both of them on together because even though Julia doesn't really have a recovery story, she's so entwined with Josh's with the adoptions and stuff like that. I feel like it would be cool to have both of them on and just kind of tell it. I don't know. We're still trying to work that out. Yeah.
More amazingly great people.
Yeah.
No, you can't help but love them. Bro.
Yeah, I know it, man. Like I've had conversations with both of them in text, and they're both amazing. And I feel like I've tapped into this selfishly. I love it because, like getting to know all of you guys, like all of a sudden now I have guests for like the next year. You know what I mean? Like I do, because all of y'all have such amazing stories. And I feel like as I'm getting to know some of you, it's like every week I'm connecting with new people that have amazing stories. And I'm like, yep, they're on the list for people I want to reach out to. So
and see, that's one of the beautiful things about this recovery is, dude, everybody has a strong story.
Yeah.
Now, some people aren't as open with it as others. You know what I'm saying? But, dude, every success story that you can hear coming from recovery is going to be strong. It's going to have a message.
Yeah. Anna, send me a connection request, please, so I don't forget, because you've been pretty active in the chat. Anna, sorry.
Yeah, Anna Hernandez.
Anna.
Another great person. She's awesome.
Yeah. Well, cool, y'all. Josh, I will see you in 9 days, man.
Yes, sir.
9 days and a wake up.
Looking
all
forward
right, y'all.
to it.
Y'all be on the lookout. Y'all come hang out with us tomorrow at noon. It'll be on all my profiles. It'll be on Kelly and Christie's. There's an event on my profile. I'm going to share it again in the morning for tomorrow. Y'all come hang out with us. And then once I figure out who's going to be on the show next week, I'll let y'all know. Josh, dude, I've loved every single second of this. This has been an amazing. Usually I start getting antsy around 45 minutes. That was 30 minutes ago, and I'm not antsy at all. Like I want to keep going, but we got to stop sometime.
Right. And like I told you, man, I'll talk, bro. You don't have to cut me off. Like, damn it, Steve, quit.
Right. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, bro.